folks. Welcome back to Popcorn for Dinner. This is Jeff.
And Kelly.
This is our final show in October, our final horror movie show. And so for this one, since it's the last one before Halloween, we decided to watch one of the Halloween movies. You know, we've seen the original a bunch of times,
Yes.
including on the big screen.
Yes.
Last year, it was last year, because then we went and saw the reboot sequel one a month later or whatever.
Right.
So that was pretty cool.
Yes, that was fun.
So for this show, I kind of did a little bit of research, not like anything super substantial, but really just kind of looked into like, what do people think is the worst Halloween movie?
Like of all time, including every single, including all of the newer ones like Rob Zombies and whatnot.
See, that's where it gets more difficult, because there's a lot of people who, even if they liked Rob Zombie's remake, they really hated his Halloween 2. Because remember, we snuck into that for like 10 minutes
and we walked out
because the ambulance hits a cow, and then the dude is just sitting there bleeding, screaming fuck for like a minute straight. And I was just like, this is garbage. We are leaving. Because we had just seen him. Yeah, we just saw a movie, and then we were like, oh, we'll pop into this.
Yeah.
We went in there and sat there, and I was like, okay, no, this isn't even worth not paying for. Yeah, it was a bad one.
It makes it easier to walk out of.
Yeah. So when it comes to worst Halloween movie, you know, it's usually centered on that original run. Because even though they're technically different continuities, as this one shows, those were the 8 Halloween movies, and that's what they did. And then they made remakes and this new timeline and all that, but that was like the original run. And there is some debate. Some people say that Halloween 6 was the worst, where they dealt really heavily with the cult of Thorn that drives Michael's madness and all that kind of bullshit.
Okay.
Does include Paul Rudd, though. Young Paul Rudd.
Huh.
He plays Tommy, the kid who was being babysat by Laurie in the first one.
Nice.
Yeah, like grown up Tommy.
He could still play that role.
Yeah.
Just real grown up Tommy.
People have said, they were like, they should get him back for these new movies to play him as a grown up now. And it was like, I don't think he's going to want to come and do a Halloween movie. I don't know. Maybe Danny McBride can convince him.
Yeah.
I think they're buds. And then there's 5. Halloween 5 is probably my least favorite. I really, really hate it. It has, in my opinion, easily the worst mask in the whole series. He looks like an alien. It's the dumbest fucking thing. The like neck flaps like flare out really bad, and the hair is just it's all bad. It's a really bad mask. Like even H2O, where they go like there's like 3 different masks that happen in the movie, and there's
for whatever reason
CGI one at one point, and even that is better than the one from 5. It's really bad.
That is bad.
Yeah, but the one that it really seems like is the consensus worst, Rotten Tomatoes gave it an 11. Like it has 11% for the critical, and it's like 28 for the audience. But slasher movie audience will give anything a 10. Like it had some blood.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. So we sat down and watched Halloween Resurrection, and like literally like just sat down and watched Halloween Resurrection.
Yes.
I think it ended like a half hour ago, maybe. So we sat and we watched and we took some notes, and there's a lot of stuff that I didn't remember because I've seen it before. I know that you hadn't.
So I do. As it turns out, I have seen bits of it because there were a couple things that I was like, I've seen that before. So
anything specific jump out?
I don't even remember now without going
we'll see later. If anything specifically pops out. But right at the top, something that really struck me as like, because essentially watching it was, for me, was kind of like a challenge of like, oh, do you really think 5 is the worst? Watch this one again, and then I'd have to watch 5 again, really, because I haven't seen it in a long time. But it really was like just testing me. And right off the bat, I was like, ooh, yeah, you know what? Come on, movie. For a series that has a lot of really good credit sequences like the original credit sequence with the fucking pumpkin. The fourth movie has a really cool credit sequence that's just like over shots of like a kind of like rural, really Illinois looking kind of landscape and atmosphere. It didn't look like California. And that one was pretty cool. And then you get this one, and it's literally just letters with an orange glow that fade in and out over the Halloween theme for a minute and a half, 2 minutes. And it was just like, wow. It struck me as just particularly lazy. Like, if the other movies didn't have really great credit sequences, maybe I wouldn't have cared.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, it can't even muster.
You could have done something.
Yeah, anything. Even just put it over some of the random footage that we're seeing at the beginning of the movie that nobody cares about.
Yeah.
All the hallways of the psychiatric ward and the establishing shots and stuff like that. It's like, just fucking throw it over that. Who gives a shit? Why does it need to just be a dead black screen? That was really terrible. Again, right off the bat, you get that horrible retconning of the end of H2O. And I know that H2O was a movie that you'd seen a bunch. That was one of the ones you were more familiar with.
Yeah.
So knowing that, how did that make you feel watching that?
Come on. Like, I guess I understand, like, they had to do something, obviously, because there's another movie.
Exactly.
So they had to come up with something.
That's the thing that I give it slight props for, is the fact that it's actually fairly clever of an idea.
Yeah.
As stupid as it really winds up being.
Yeah.
Like, it's something that in a way more restrained way could work. But the ridiculousness of that ending of H2O, where it's like, the dude fucking like does the Michael Myers power sit up in the middle of the road after he gets flung out the windshield. Like, that guy is dead. He's not Michael Myers, apparently.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's no way that he survives all the shit that he survives at the end of that movie if he's not Michael.
Exactly.
And it's like, why didn't he say anything? Like, oh, Michael crushed his trachea. It's like, for one, can you tell if trachea has been crushed after the head's been cut off? Like, I think all the trauma there is kind of going to be obscured.
Yeah.
But either way, it's like, so he broke his larynx. That doesn't mean he has to like attack her.
Yeah.
And at no point does he try to get the mask off until the very last moment when he does the whole like, oh, he's grabbing at his head. And it's like, it looks like he might like not know what's going on or want to take this mask off or something.
Yeah.
It's like, you could have done it as soon as you got yourself out of that body bag. You know, like, oh my God. And then you could have taken it off and shown your face to her and she would have stopped the fucking van and been like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Normal person. You shouldn't have gone after her like a lunatic.
Yeah. Unless he's Michael Myers.
Exactly. And speaking of that head grab maneuver, Laurie's too smart to fall for that. I hated that. In the trap, right at the beginning of the movie, Michael's hanging upside down and she's about to cut the rope and he starts grabbing at his head and she has a little flashback to the guy doing it before. She is way too fucking smart to fall for that.
Absolutely.
That is ridiculous. Like, unforgivable that is how Laurie goes out in this movie timeline by being that fucking stupid. Like, I have to be sure. Like, you're fucking sure he just busted through the door.
Seriously, the door of your hospital room. Locked hospital door. Busted through like paper.
With his head. Not even like with his arms or shoulder. He just busted through head first.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, I have a feeling this is probably Michael Myers.
Yeah. Like,
something is tipping me off.
Yeah.
Can't quite put my finger on it.
There's something there.
Something about this guy. But yeah, I took a quick note during that whole sequence because he kills those security guards. There's that perpetually swinging light bulb.
Right.
It just would not stop swinging. Like,
eventually it would stop.
Yeah, really.
Let it stop.
Also, the fact that security guard hears his partner like scream, and then like 4 seconds later, he comes into the room and the dude's head is off and in the washing machine already.
And the washing machine is on.
Yeah, and the washing machine's been turned on, and Michael has apparently grabbed another pipe on the ceiling and pulled himself up.
He loves that move.
Oh, yeah, that's his new favorite.
That's
fucking core strength and shit. I did notice that, you know, that like lowering himself from the pipe being a very clear reference to H2O. I did notice throughout the movie a bunch of other references to older Halloween movies, which you would think would like it makes it sound like it was lovingly crafted of a movie. Like they were like, oh, we're gonna pay homage to all these different Halloween movies that came before, and it just doesn't. It's not. It's terrible, and every one of them is just like, it's like if you didn't know, you wouldn't care, and I do know, and I still don't care. So it winds up really not adding up to much, but I did note them. Also, in that first sequence, it looks like Michael's mask has an afro. Did you notice that? It was kind of really poofed out super hard in like one or two shots. And I was just like, Jesus, fucking comb that down before you take that shot. Jesus.
I want to know how she managed to build that trap up there. I did notice that they said like they've caught her on the roof.
And they think it's suicidal, but she's up there preparing this thing.
Right. But how does like no one notice that this trap is being built and like question it?
That dude keeps getting out of his fucking cell like every other minute.
That is true.
Nobody at this fucking hospital knows what they're doing. I would not put it past them to have no clue what she's doing up there.
One of my notes is that there is a very, very poorly managed security staff here.
Oh, yeah. I had a note here. 1, fuck killing Laurie.
Yeah.
Hate it with all of my being. Very stupid. I mean, I completely understand that Jamie Lee Curtis didn't want anything to do with it anymore, but she was contractually obligated. So it's like, okay, fine. Kill me so I never have to come back.
Yeah.
And then she came back.
Yay. I'm so glad she did.
Yeah, it came back like happy and not like contractually obligated.
Yeah.
You must be in this. And then 2, once she's dead, movie's over.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about any of these new characters.
Nope.
Like in the slightest, even Sarah, the final girl, where it's like she is the epitome of the like boring final girl trope. You know what I mean? Because it's like they're like
the average girl.
Yeah, but it's like it's so diluted down to nothing. Because it's like at least Laurie and like Sydney from Scream and all that, where they're kind of like the boring plain types compared to their like more outgoing friends.
Right.
At least they have some semblance of a personality. Sarah is literally, she's just like, I don't want to go. And then as soon as they get there, she's like, I'm gonna leave. And then later it's like, we're all leaving. Like she just wants to leave. And it's totally understandable.
Yeah.
I don't blame her at all. It seems like a bummer of a place to be, this whole Dangertainment show. But it doesn't make her a very engaging character.
Yeah.
It's like, you want to leave? I really want to fucking leave too. Let's all leave together and never talk about this movie.
Let's all just go home.
But yeah, introducing all the characters and this goddamn Dangertainment. Quite possibly like the dumbest plot idea for a Halloween movie in the whole franchise, even above the stupid cult. Dangertainment might take the cake.
Can I jump back for a second?
Oh.
I did appreciate the crazy man in the mental hospital, his rambles, so that you knew which movies were canon.
Oh, yeah.
Because he specifically says like about the events of like the first movie, the second movie, and then H2O.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, you know what universe you're in now. Like all that other shit didn't happen.
Yeah, there's no cult.
Yeah.
There's no Man in Black. None of that garbage.
Instead, there's Dangertainment.
Dangertainment. You know what's funny too is that for a guy who apparently has, like photographic serial killer memory, he gets it wrong. Because he gets the amount of people killed in the first 2 movies wrong.
Really?
Yeah, because he says 3 teenage girls, or like 3 teenagers, 3 nurses, a paramedic, whatever. Yeah. But there were 4 teenagers, 3 in Halloween, 1 in Halloween 2, right at the beginning. And then there's 3 nurses, a paramedic, a cop, and a doctor. And it's just funny, or it's just like, you can't even fucking write that right. You can't even get the right number of characters killed in your own movie franchise into this. Like,
unless
come on,
apparently some of those people didn't die in your universe.
Yeah. Dr. Mixter made it just fine. He lived with that syringe in his eyeball the rest of his life. Getting Busta Rhymes for this movie is clearly just like a
please come see our movie.
Or yeah, well, it was like people liked LL in H2O.
Yeah.
So let's get another rapper. with no regard to how charming they may be or how their person, because it's like, I mean, nothing against Busta Rhymes like as a person, and I'm sure a lot of it was just the way the character was written, because he's just a scumbag. But he is like a repellent character in this movie. I hate every time he comes on screen.
Not
and the
a
shit
fan.
that he does. Fucking watching that kung fu shit at the beginning and just rolling my eyes, waiting for it to come back, because that was what I knew was coming back. I knew he was going to use kung fu against Michael Myers, and you're just sitting there waiting for it like an idiot. Like, oh my god, of course, and he's going to go what? Just be like a fucking jackass, total jackass. Hate him. Don't care anything about Sarah. Jen is at least has some energy to her performance. And that is Katie Sackhoff, who is the mom in Oculus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. One of those, hey, look who's in this.
Nice.
Because I know that then there's that, I noticed you reacted really hard when they showed that kid, the other kid, Deckard.
Yes.
What is he from?
He was in Smart House and Luck of the Irish.
Oh, Disney Channel stuff?
Yes, but he was also in the one of the Final Destinations, the roller coaster one.
Oh, okay. Final Destination 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whenever I see him, I'm like, oh, Luck of the Irish.
He looks, as soon as he popped up on screen, I was like, oh my God, it's budget Chris Evans. He really does look a lot like Chris Evans to me.
Yeah, I can see that.
So the whole plot of the movie is that they're shooting this reality show in the old Michael Myers house, and Busta Rhymes has hired all these college kids that he's going to send in there with cameras on them, and they're going to investigate the house on Halloween night, and they'll live broadcast it for the internet, and blah 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 blah. It was right when the internet was like becoming a thing you could do that kind of stuff on.
There was so much stuff that like gave away just like the
age of everything, that Palm Pilot thing or whatever the fuck she was using to send those slow ass messages.
Yeah.
Literally popping up letter by letter, like Jesus. Oh, like cavemen.
It's being translated through Morse code.
So they're in the house, and then like way too much of this movie takes place at that fucking party with that kid and his friends, and them watching the footage and all that stuff. Like, as soon as they introduced those two again, like the guy and his little buddy who go to the party, I was like, oh my God, I don't care. I already don't care about the people that are supposed to be our main characters. I really don't care about these people who have nothing to do with it. Yeah. Who are so far removed from it. And then eventually at the end, they use the magic of the internet to save the day. But yeah, I was just like, the fact is, like, they could have just like established it real quick and like been done with it. Yeah. But trying to give any personality to these two, it's like, why are you wasting the screen time? I really don't care about these. Like, the only reason we got invited to this party is because your sister, this and that's like, shut up. Yeah. Move to the next scene. Get to Michael Myers. Do something.
Just let them go to the party. You can check in later to let us know that he's watching, and then continue on with the house.
Yeah, because he gets like lauded like a hero at the end by everyone else at the party. Like, you did it. And it's like, I mean, okay, he told her where Michael Myers was in the house. Yeah. But you didn't do anything. Like,
I mean, he did try to call the police. They didn't believe him. So he tried. Like, what else was he gonna do? Leave the party and go to the house and get killed?
I mean, I would have preferred that.
That does seem like the better option.
Yeah, but also he jumps on board with the all these murders are real thing so quickly. Yeah. Especially after it's revealed that all that shit they were looking at in the beginning was all fake. Mm-hmm. But like as soon as something kind of off happens, he's like, no, she was really murdered. And it's like, okay, yeah, we know he's right. Yeah. But there's no reason for him to be right. There's no reason for him to jump to that conclusion yet. Until a little bit later, where probably when she gets her head cut off, is where it's like, depending on what angles they were looking at, that's probably something very hard to fake. Yeah. So that you could see it and be like, okay, that happened. A couple questions that I had just right off the bat, things that I didn't understand. Maybe they mentioned it, maybe they didn't. But for one, how is that fucking house still standing?
I have no idea.
Why would a murder house that they literally mention in the movie can't, like, who's going to buy this house?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, then why is it still there?
Yeah.
Why haven't they torn it down and made anything else out of it? I mean, I know you probably can't build anything other than a house there. Maybe a little park or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Zoning and shit. But
even just like a grassed over lot.
Seriously, way better than a murder house.
Yeah.
What is the point of it still being there? And two, how did they get permission to shoot there? Do they mention that? Do they say anything about how they got, like,
how many permits do they have to be in this house?
Yeah, I mean, like, just thinking about it from, like, even our own standpoint right now, if there was a abandoned house next door, like, what would we have to do all the shit they do to it? Because it's like it's not just like we walked in.
Yeah,
they went in, they set up shit, they put props everywhere.
They had a car towed.
Yeah, like they do a bunch of shit. Like, how do you get that permission?
They had to have gone to someone on the, like, city board, or I don't even know.
I'm sure they would have to tell them what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they would have to mention that they're putting things in there and they're, like, changing things. So it's like right off the bat, your game is up. That any of this is real. They
do say when Busta Rhymes is doing the intro, he does mention that, you know, nothing's been changed. Everything in here is real.
Right.
Blah, blah. So I'm assuming that it is possible that he just didn't
tell anybody.
Just didn't tell anybody.
Yeah, his plan is full of holes.
Yeah.
He has a terrible plan for how to make this happen. Like, the fact that it's okay for God, it really bugged me watching it and realizing how much time was elapsing. When I was going back into it, I was like, all right, I know they show up, they find some freaky shit, they discover that it's fake, they realize it's all a ruse, and then, you know, real shit starts happening.
Yeah.
I thought they figured it out so much quicker. Because it's like 50 or so minutes into the movie before they're like, hey, this wasn't real. All these things aren't real. So it's like so much time wasted in this movie on scenes that are like, they're not even really scary, but they're supposed to, like, you know, build the dread and the tension. And then you find out all of it's fake anyway.
Yeah.
And then the movie starts again, essentially, when Myers shows up and actually starts murdering people. And I just, like, I can't believe how much time they waste on that bullshit. Like, it should have happened after the first couple of things they found.
Yeah.
But it just kept going and going. And then all those fake corpses in the basement. Gotta
get the sex shot in.
Yeah, I mean, as a slasher movie, it's a rule. But you could have figured out a better way to do it.
Yeah. I wanted to know how Tyra Banks didn't realize that guy was missing. And then they sort of, like, dismiss it later, like, oh, we've been looking for you everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Charlie, the first guy he kills. And then, like, when Freddy when he's dressed as Myers and then Michael Myers is following him, when Freddy turns around and he's dressed like Michael and he sees Michael behind him, what fucking reason did he have to assume that was Charlie?
Yeah.
Because he even said, so he turns around and he's like, Charlie, what the fuck? Where the fuck have you been? We've been looking for you everywhere. Yeah. And then he says, why the hell are you dressed up like me anyway? Like, so he's not supposed to be dressed like you?
Yeah.
Why would you think it's Charlie?
Like, did you have a second set?
Yeah, like, is there even another costume for him to have put on? Do you think he went and bought it himself and was like, oh shit, Freddy's doing it too. We're gonna be so dumb. Like, on what planet does that coincidence happen? There's no way that like a rational human being would turn around, see someone else dressed like Michael Myers,
and assume that it isn't Michael Myers, especially when you're in his house on Halloween.
Exactly. Like, all of the cards are against you, and you're still like, no, you know what? That's probably Charlie.
But then he tells them to scoot and skedaddle.
Skedaddle. If ever there has been someone who signed their death warrant by Michael Myers, it was Freddy, and it's a travesty that he does not get his comeuppance. I was sitting there and I was like, I know he survives, but I forget exactly, like, what happens or how maybe his character changes, and he has like one half-assed apology to Sarah. That's not even really an apology. It's just him saying, like, I didn't bring Michael Myers here. And that's about
it. I didn't know.
He takes zero responsibility for bringing everybody into this house and getting them murdered, and the fact that he was just a douchebag. He needed to die. And the fact that the movie was like, no, he's heroic, just shows how tone deaf it is. It's like, oh no, yeah, he should like karate kick Michael and then zap him in the nuts with a electrical wire.
Seriously.
And say a bunch of cheesy one-liners like trick or treat, motherfucker, or yay, Mikey, happy fucking Halloween, and say shit like that. And people will think it's dope. And it's like, it's not dope. It is undope. It is the opposite of dope. This movie is dopeless. Like it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And it really does sort of make a run for being the worst, because it's like in 5, like The Mask is horrible, and there's one other really big thing that just I can never get over, because there's these 2 like bumbling ass cops in it. Of course. And they go into a house to check it out, like someone thinks they see someone, so they leave the house and they send the cops in. The cops go in, look around, don't see anything. And when they come back out, for one, they're playing it like they're in a comedy movie, like a goofy comedy movie where they're like, they have like no realistic like body motion. They're like very exaggerated. Okay. But also the soundtrack has like sound effects behind it and like squeaks and like clown horn bullshit. And it's the dumbest thing. And I've always held on that like that is the stupidest thing in a Halloween movie. Yeah. But man, this movie really has a lot of moments that like give that a run for its money. Like the kung fu fight alone. Yeah. The fact that I have to say those words. The kung fu fight at the end of the Halloween movie.
Should have never happened.
Yeah, it really does that. Also, okay. So they're going through the house, right? And they're finding all this creepy bullshit, like these creepy dolls and these coloring books with like, you know, horrible things scrawled in them.
The chair in the kitchen was one of the things that I remembered.
Oh, okay. But yeah, the high chair that it like looks like they used to strap baby Michael into and everything. Yeah. So you find out all of that is fake, which for one, thank God.
Yeah, because that like, would have ruined it.
Yeah, that's like the dumbest thing possible for it to be like, oh no, yeah, he was like an evil monster. And his parents kept him locked in the basement? What? He's clearly just a normal kid. What are you talking about? This is ridiculous. Yeah. So thank God they knew to not go in that direction for real. But then that fucking Donna character discovers the like real hideout for Michael under the house. Yeah. And he has a fucking doll with nails in its eyes. And I'm like, so he does make dumbass creepy doll bullshit? Like,
or did he like that one and took it?
He took their prop. He's like, that's pretty cool. I like that one. But it's
I like the nails on this.
Yeah. It just seems so ridiculous that it's like, okay, yeah, he's not the kind of person to make all this dumb bullshit. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, wait, no, he is? Oh, movie. Come on, movie. Ugh. And then I think the very next scene is I just said the one sentence. They brought a bong?
Yeah. Where did the bong come from?
Like they must have brought it, because clearly they were like, those 3 were close buddies. Yeah. And they were hanging out together and doing it and whatnot. So it's like, okay, they brought it. And they all had like bags and stuff for like an overnight. It just seems kind of crazy that there was no oversight as to what was in these people's bags. Yeah. This is a really, really fucking like ramshackle operation. Yeah. They're just like, yeah, just bring whatever you want. Like, bring whatever you want. Have you vetted these people? Yeah. You don't know what they might be bringing.
Yeah, crazy ass college students.
Yeah. And the fact that they thought to. You know what I mean? Like, of all things, to be like, oh, you know what we need? The bong. Yeah. We got to bring that to this overnight internet show we're on. Yeah. Like reality TV show that we're starring in. Like, why would you think that would be cool? Like, what if you got caught?
Yeah. You're being recorded.
Yeah. And not even like in a sense of like the authorities coming to get you, but it's like a real entertainment entity is not going to stand for that. Yeah. So if Freddie wants to make his name, he can't be like, oh no, it was cool that they were smoking weed on my set. Yeah. He would have to fire them. So it's like, you're just getting yourself kicked out and not getting those scholarships you were talking about. Yeah. Like, when it really comes down to it, it's like Laurie being dead is not new to the Halloween franchise. When Halloween 4 starts, her daughter is a character in it, but she's like a little girl, Jamie. But she has like a picture of Jamie Lee Curtis that she like cries about, you know, because she's dead. Okay. And then Michael comes back and he's kind of chasing after his niece and the people who are helping her and all that kind of stuff. So it's like the franchise has existed without her as the main person for a long time. Okay. Or like it has done it before. But this movie really solidifies the fact that, like, okay, if you're not going to have Jamie Lee Curtis, you need Donald Pleasence. So it's like the fact that he passed away before Halloween H2O was able to be made. It's like, okay, H2O has Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie, whatever, has her all the way through. So you're kind of set. You're cool. This one, once she's dead, there's no Laurie, there's no Loomis, there's no fucking movie.
Yeah.
This is just nonsense. You're just running in circles. It's so bad that it really does kind of push 5 out of that spot, because it's like, at least in 5 you get Donald Pleasence.
Yeah.
Even if he acts like a lunatic and like consistently puts a small child in danger in order to try to catch Michael Myers, like using her as bait essentially multiple times. At least he's there. That really struck me, like realizing like, oh yeah, without Laurie, without Loomis, there's no personality. It's like Michael literally has no personality.
Yeah,
that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
So having nothing going against him other than fucking Busta Rhymes, it's like, don't care, movie. Just don't care. I'm just trying to see what else. Oh yeah. Sarah goes from like screaming and cowering and being like utterly terrified by everything to jumping on Michael Myers' back in an instant. Like she's in the room with Busta Rhymes. Michael Myers comes in. She's literally already like shrieking and hiding in the corner. Busta Rhymes tries to kung fu fight him, which my next note was Busta Rhymes kung fu fighting Myers is an all-time low. And then like once Myers kind of gets the upper hand, I think, in the fight, suddenly she just like leaps off the bed and jumps onto his back like while he's swinging a knife.
Yeah.
And it's like, as a character thing, it would be really interesting to see a character go from the like meek, bland nothing she was at the beginning to like a badass who will take on Michael Myers. But the movie didn't do it. It just had her do it. It was just like, oh, and then at this point now she has courage. It's like, where did that come from? Like, I don't know. She just has it now.
Like suddenly Busta Rhymes is the one that she cares enough about to attack Michael.
Really? Like I get it. Her friends are killed and there's really nothing she could do about it. But in that sense, yeah. Of all the people.
Maybe that's it. All of her anger and grief is coming out in the form of just attacking.
Yeah, that would be really cool if the movie showed us that.
Yeah.
Literally just sitting here for a second, like pondering it, has come up with a better reasoning than the movie even tries to give us. And then, of course, he's hanged out the window, but he's not dead.
Of course.
Of course. And then they go to the garage. I don't even remember exactly the sequence of events, but oh no, yeah. And then he's just like standing right in front of them.
Yeah.
The camera like swings around and he's just like, by the way, I've been here
in
for
the
about
house.
Yeah. By the way, guys, I've been standing here for about 2 minutes. You guys haven't looked up once. And then they go into the garage and all that shit happens. The chainsaw fight, the fire starts, blah, blah, blah. I'm just wondering if I was seeing something different than you were. But was Sarah trapped under a very light and easily movable cart at the end?
It looked like it. It looked like a mixer.
I know, it looked
like an audio mixer fell on her
leg.
On her leg.
Yeah. It literally looked like a like light aluminum cart that you would have at like a school or something that you would like push AV equipment around on.
Yep.
And one small audio mixer had tipped over onto her legs.
Yep.
And it made her completely immobile.
Yep. That was one of my notes. Oh no, one mixer is on my leg. I can't move.
It was unbelievable. Like I thought it was only the mixer in that first shot. And I was like, I must be missing something.
Yeah.
And then the next one they showed like that cart was like kind of there too.
Yeah.
And I was like, still not enough movie.
Yeah.
There is no reason for her to not be able to get out of that.
Yeah. She is a seemingly relatively healthy individual.
Yeah. Young, spry.
Yeah.
Can't get a cart off her leg.
The fuck, Sarah.
You can only imagine that like the only reason that Myers didn't kill her was because he's just like, there must be something wrong with her.
Yeah.
I feel bad.
She's too dumb to kill.
She is weak and dumb. This isn't fun. And then Trick or Treat motherfucker wrote down as possible worst line in the franchise. Followed up so shortly after with Happy fucking Halloween, Mikey, which was like, I can't stand when anybody calls him Mikey.
Yeah.
In any of the movies. It's especially bad in his in Rob Zombie's remake. Because Danny Trejo plays a guy at the sanitarium who like forges a somewhat relationship with Michael while he's there.
Okay.
And he calls him Mikey all the time. And it's like, and then he kills him. He's like killing Danny Trejo and like drowning him and smashing him into stuff. And like he just keeps going, Mikey, no, Mikey. And I'm just like, this is the dumbest.
That's a shame.
Don't call him Mikey.
Yeah.
Mikey is gone.
Yeah.
Michael, though, is murdering
now Michael.
You. Let me introduce you to Michael. He's going to be murdering you today. Oh, man. And then the very end, after the garage burns down and all that shit, and they take his body to the morgue, all I could think was the fucking end of the Mystery Science Theater episode Space Mutiny, where the bad guy, like after he seemingly is dead and the camera's like closing in on what looks like maybe his dead body. And the whole time, Mike, the bots are just going, and his eyes open, and his eyes open. Come on, movie. And his eyes open, and then his eyes open. Yeah. That's all I could think. I was like, and his eyes open. There it is.
It's funny because my brain, and I wrote it down, was body bag sits up. I was like, damn, eyes open.
So close. So close. That almost, that probably would have been better, honestly.
Yeah.
It would have been more Michael.
Yeah.
And less every other horror movie in the history of the world.
I mean, I was giving the movie way too much credit, obviously, but
yeah, the award for the one cool thing in this movie goes to Michael stabbing his knife into the wall before he grabs Jim's head to crush it. Like that is the one cool thing, because like the fact that he does that so specifically, like it's not like he's fighting with someone and the knife gets knocked away and he just grabs him by the head or something, or he just walks in without a knife and crushes his head and then he gets his knife again later. The fact that he like very specifically is like, you, I am gonna crush your head. Watch. Shang, stabs it into the wall and just like, let's do this. It just fucking reaches out and grabs him. He doesn't even like fight back. He doesn't try to run away.
Doesn't try.
He just accepts it.
Yeah.
And it's like, at that point, I kind of would too. He's clearly determined.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you're going down. And you know what? It's going to hurt a lot worse than everyone else's for no reason, really. I don't know why he gets the most like brutal one. Just getting your head crushed.
Yeah.
Like, for one, just the fuckery of it being a human person's hands doing it, like, has got to add to it. Of like, is this really fucking happening?
Yeah. As
your skull gets crushed.
Yeah, I would absolutely want that to be over as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and it didn't really seem like it seemed like he was well aware of what was happening.
Yeah. While
it was happening, that was a pretty bad one. I read that there was they were gonna do another one. Like obviously, I'm sure they never wanted to stop.
Yeah.
Making money. So they're like, yeah, we can do another one. And it allegedly would have been Josh Hartnett going for revenge for the murder of his mother.
Oh.
Which, when you think about it, is like, so would he be like tracking him and hunting Myers? Like him going after him and like flip the cat and mouse the other way? It's like, that might be pretty cool. But it really, in the end, it would probably be more like
Josh Hartnett just keeps getting duped.
But no, I meant more. It would be more like kind of like how she has the house set up as a trap in the new one.
Yeah,
where it's like it would probably be something more like that. That's probably kind of what the story would have been. Would have been that movie, except replace Laurie with her son and replace him escaping prison again with him like coming out of the wilderness or whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
I loved. Okay, real quick, the like flashback shots of the end of H2O, where they like added footage. Apparently, for one, that was shot during H2O. They knew this was what they were going to do. But Jamie Lee Curtis allegedly said, like, fine, you can shoot it and that can be the way it goes, but do not allude to that at all in the end of H2O.
Yeah.
Let everyone believe that that's the end of the series until the next sequel gets announced. Like, that's the only way I'll do it. So they're like, okay, but they still shot that footage of him like escaping in the paramedic's outfit from that movie. I love, for one, the fact that he's wandering around the parking lot with his knife in the paramedic's outfit. It's like,
no one notices.
Yeah, like, what the fuck is that about? But then also that shot of him like disappearing off into the wilderness, like fucking Sasquatch, just through the trees, like, and he goes where? He's in California.
Yeah.
Like he traveled all the way.
Walking east.
Yeah, he traveled all the way across the country. And then now in this movie, he's just getting back.
Yeah, apparently.
I guess.
That's why there was only 3 dead rats.
I would honestly prefer that movie of him making his way home. Make it like a road movie, except your lead character is a mute serial killer who has to find different ways of getting rides from point A to point B to point Z all the way back home. That's the Halloween movie I want to see. The original name of this movie would have made the perfect name for it because it was Halloween Homecoming.
Yep.
It would have been hysterical. It would have been great. Missed opportunity. Because, I mean, he's got a year to get there.
Yeah.
If something's going to happen on Halloween. So,
yeah.
You know, you could have him go through all the different holidays leading up to it. You know, like stopping at a diner on, like, Christmas. And people being like, don't you have somewhere to go? And then he murders them all. It's heartwarming. It's great. Well, folks, I want to thank you for hanging out with us all October as we talked about horror movies. This is the final horror movie specific show, but I don't doubt that we will probably talk about horror movies at some point as things move on.
There's no avoiding it.
Yeah, I'll probably just change the theme song back so it doesn't have the evil laugh and shit in it. But it was fun. We'll bring it back. We'll bring it back next October, I guess. Yeah. That's gonna wrap up this week for Popcorn for Dinner. This is Jeff
and Kelly. Happy Halloween.
Happy fucking Halloween.